Who exactly authorized Abhijeet Dipke to inspect government schools? This is the question nobody seems to be asking. For the past several days, Dipke and his cockroach Janata Party have been moving through government schools under their so-called School Thik Karo campaign. Now, demanding better schools is perfectly legitimate. Questioning broken toilets is legitimate. Asking why children do not have computers, drinking water, or proper classrooms is absolutely legitimate. Every citizen has the right to demand accountability from the government. But accountability does not automatically give a private individuals the power of a government inspector. And that distinction matters. Namaste, I'm Sonam Singh and you are watching Organiser. Abhijeet Dipke launched this School Thik Karo campaign from Hingoli on August 15, describing it as a nationwide social audit of rural government schools. But look at what this social audit has begun to resemble. Dipke has been moving from one government school to another in Hingoli. At Satuk Pimpari, his native village, he entered the government school and highlighted broken windows, inadequate toilets and other infrastructure problems. Then came Limbala. There, villagers reportedly complained that the headmaster regularly came to school under the influence of alcohol. The headmaster was subsequently suspended. Then came Dhegaj. Dipke entered the government school and confronted teachers after students told them that they were being made to sweep their classrooms. A video of that confrontation subsequently generated a controversy over the matter in which he spoke to the teacher. Dipke defended himself, saying that he has become angry after learning that children were cleaning classroom despite cleaning personnel being available. Fine, investigate the allegation. If children are being improperly forced to clean classrooms, action should be taken. If a headmaster comes to school drunk, suspend them. If toilets are broken, repair them. But here's the larger question. Who appointed Abhijeet Dipke as the investigating authority? He is not the education minister. He is not an education department officer. He is not the block education officer. He is not the district education officer. He is not the headmaster. And as far as publicly available information shows, he has not produced any government order appointing himself as the authorized school inspector. Yet the optics increasingly resemble an inspection tour, entering schools, examining facilities, questioning teachers and publicly demanding explanation. There is an important legal administrative distinction here. Maharashtra's regulations government recognized secondary schools specifically say that schools shall be open for inspection to inspecting officers of the education department and person authorized by the divisional board. So the question is very simple. Where is Dipke's authorization? If permission was granted for these visits, who granted them? Was permission granted merely to visit the premises, or was permission granted to enter classrooms while teaching was underway, question teachers and conduct what is publicly being described as an audit? Because a social audit is not the same thing as a statutory inspection. And now this style of politics appears to be spreading in Rajasthan. CJP spokesperson Ashutosh Ranka has been aggressively pushing the same campaign. At Jodhwa's village in Alwar, Ranka got into a heated confrontation with a police officer during a protest involving school students. His words to the police officer were, "Don't play politics with me." Think about the irony. A political pressure group representative arrives amid a protest, confronts the police and tells the police not to play politics with him. Ranka has now challenged Rajasthan Education Minister Madan Dilawar to show him the 10 best schools developed during his tenure, saying that he and his team would personally visit them. Again, visit them in what capacity? A citizen can question, a journalist can report, an activist can protest outside an office, parents can complain about their children's school. But none of these roles automatically convert someone into an education inspector. In fact, Rajasthan's education department has now reportedly directed that outsiders cannot enter government schools without prior approval of the principal or the head of the institution. CJP has criticized that decision, but perhaps the most important question is, why should unrestricted entry into a functioning school be treated as a right in the first place? These aren't political party offices. These aren't protest ground. These are schools filled with minors. Classes are supposed to be taking place. Teachers are supposed to be teaching. And children are not property for anybody's political campaign. Then there is Saurav Das, CJP's chief spokesperson, who along with Dipke and Ranka has emerged as the principal faces of this movement. The trio has moved rapidly from an online campaign to protest, to political demands, and now direct interventions around educational institutions. See, there is nothing wrong with the activism. There is nothing wrong with exposing genuine failures. In fact, if Dipke finds a school without toilets or discovers misconduct by a teacher, the administration should investigate it. But activism cannot become a parallel administration. Imagine the precedent. Tomorrow, 50 people from another organization arrive at a government school. They say they are conducting a people's audit. They walk into classrooms, they surround teachers, they interrogate the staff on camera. Another group arrives the next day with a different political ideology, then another. Would we call all of this democratic accountability? Or would we eventually ask why a school has been converted into a political arena? And there's another uncomfortable question. Why are the authorities themselves facilitating this spectacle? If Dipke requires police security because of threat perception, that is one matter. But police protection cannot be mistaken for administrative authorization. A security escort protects an individual. It does not automatically confer statutory powers upon him. So Maharashtra's education department needs to answer some very basic question. Did Dipke seek permission before entering each government school? Who granted that permission? Why he authorized to enter classrooms during the school hours? Was his entourage permitted inside? Was he authorized to question teachers while they were on duty? And most importantly, what protocol exists to ensure that students' education, safety and privacy are not compromised under these political campaigns? Because this debate should not become a choice between defending bad schools and defending Dipke. Broken schools need to be fixed. Negligent officials must be held accountable. Teachers guilty of misconduct must face action. But there is already an education department for doing that. If that department is failing, expose the failure, demand action, file complaints, use RTI, approach the authorities, report the evidence. But nobody should simply assume the powers of the state because a camera and a crowd and social media followers are standing behind them. Government schools belong to the public, but they are not public playgrounds for political mobilization of people like Dipke. And asking who authorized you is not an attack on accountability, it is accountability itself. Thank you for watching.